How to create quick liquid physics in Blender. First, I'm going to add a cylinder to my scene, but before I click off of it, I'm going to navigate to the Add Cylinder menu in the bottom left. Because I want my liquid to fit the mug, I'm going to use a cylinder, but you can also use a cube and it will work the same. Next to cap fill type, change it to triangle fan. This is just so you can subdivide the top face of the cylinder. Next, go into edit mode and select only the top faces of the cylinder. Once you have done that, right click and go to subdivide. I then decided to subdivide it 40 times, but do whatever your PC can handle. I changed my mind and thought this wasn't enough subdivisions, so I subdivided it twice more and got the results I wanted. Next, I scaled the cylinder so that it fit inside the mug and it was at the right level that I wanted the liquid. Once you have done this, go to the modifiers tab on the right hand side and find the ocean modifier. Once you've added the ocean modifier to the liquid, change the geometry from generate to displace. I changed both the resolution viewport and the render resolution to 32, but you can change it however you'd like. Next, I changed the value of the time. I put in #frame/24. What this does is set the frame rate of the liquid to 24 frames per second. Now, you might notice that the liquid's become a bit wonky and weird. To fix this, go to waves and then under wind velocity change it to 0.1 meters per second. I also changed the scale to 0.1, but I'll change it back to 1 later in the video to fix some issues. Next, find the physics tab and locate dynamic paint. Once you have clicked on dynamic paint, click add canvas and scroll down to surface. Change your surface type to waves and then create a new object that you want to fall into the liquid. Scale it and rotate it to however you would like, but make sure to put this in its own collection. With the object that you've just created selected, go back to the physics tab and click on dynamic paint again. This time change the dynamic paint type to brush. Here I add material to everything to see more clearly. I then make sure my timeline is at 0 frames and select the object that I want to fall into the liquid. I set the keyframe of its location by pressing I on the keyboard, and then I skip ahead 30 frames, go back to the object and move it down into the liquid. I then press I again to set its location once more. If you want to have more than one object falling, I'd recommend duplicating the item you've already animated and repositioning the keyframes. If this tutorial was helpful, please let me know, and thank you for watching.